Welcome to a very wet Central Park here tonight for the replay of the quarter-final of the Regal Trophy, Wigan versus Leeds. And it was that memorable quarter-final on Saturday at Headingley when the sides drew level at 10-all, which has necessitated tonight's game. And of course, one incident just before half-time on Wigan's part was that memorable try by Mark Preston, which made the scores level at 10-all. And from then on, tremendous Wigan defence kept the scores level right to the final whistle. The Wigan side tonight has got one or two changes from Saturday. Steve Hampson still in there despite his 10-match ban. This is his last match here tonight for 10 matches. David Marshall comes in on the right wing instead of Henderson Gill. And the welcome return of two of the great internationals, Andy Gregory at number 7, and perhaps most surprisingly of all, Ellery Hanley back as captain and there at number 13. The Leeds side almost as strong as ever. Gary Schofield there, he's a danger man at number 3, with Craig Coleman buzzing around at scrum half, and the two Australians in the back row, Craig Izzard and Mark Lowry. This promises to be a tremendous game. Ellery Hanley leads out the Wigan team. He gets a fabulous reception here from the crowd. This is Ellery Hanley's first appearance at Central Park this season after that pelvic injury. Gary Schofield, the Leeds centre Great Britain player, kicks the ball downfield and the game is in motion. Andy Platt with the first drive. That's a good strong run from the international second row forward. Jed Stazziger, who's of course standing in for Martin Dermott, the injured hooker. He may well be fit for the Boxing Day game. So early on, a lot of pressure on both sides. Ellery Hanley on the dummy run. He certainly looks lively enough. He's come through all the training sessions this week, so let's hope things go well for him. Lydon picks that up well. Drifts past Coleman and past Izzard. Looking for the gap and going well. What a superb break from Joe Lydon. Chasing full forward. Hanley's up in support. The first touch by the great man on the last tackle now. Inside the Leeds 22. Edwards in at 1 out. Well, that's intercepted by Gary Devorty. So two great pieces of skill in the first minute of the game. One by Joe Lydon and then the second by Gary Devorty, who leads on the attack. And Ellery Hanley in with his first tackle. What a tremendous game this promises to be. Izzard, who was beaten by Lydon on that beautiful run down the left wing just a few moments ago. He showed his worth in the quarter-final at Headingley. And so did Crooks until he came off. Laid on the ball for Colin Maskell, who almost scored in the first few minutes. Well, that's charged down by Andy Gregory. And Hanley's in the picture straight away. So already we've had 2 kicks charged down. I've already had Ellery Hanley involved in the action. And certainly a welcome return for Andy Gregory as Hampson gets in the line. Adrian Shelford driving the ball forward, and so far the pitch, which is very, very slippery, seems to be holding up. Fortunately, it's not rained over the last hour, so the ball should be reasonably dry, at least for the time being. Gregory trying to find the gap. Leeds moving it well. Good defence from Leeds. Edwards with the kick on the last tackle. This time it's not charged down, and it's picked up by Vince Fawcett, this big left wing from Leeds. That looked a high tackle there. It's a penalty. Jerry Kershaw no problem at all in going in, as Gary Lord, the fullback, who had an outstanding game when he came onto the field at Headingley, almost faultless at the back. Penalty for the high tackle. Colin Maskell, whose goals kept Leeds in the quarter-final tie, finds the touch. The wide ball. Laurie, second row forward, punching through. Dennis Betts tackles well. Switching play this time, trying to get Izzard away on the far side, but the Wigan defence moving very, very quickly up. And one of the things, of course, which Ellery Hanley would have had to have done, would have fit into John Money's pattern of defence. It's Crooks, who is strong and is fit for this game. He's had a bad time at Leeds over the last few months, but certainly on his day, one of the top number 8s in the game. Good work from Joe Lydon from the play the ball. The switch from Devotee, good linking inside, but that's gone forward and Edwards has picked it up. Links with Gregory, but he can't get past his opposite number, Craig Coleman. The atmosphere here tremendous, a bigger crowd than there was at Headingley last Saturday. And of course most of them tonight are supporting the Cherry and Whites. Edwards looking for the gap and almost finding it, but good defence from Gary Schofield. He snuffed out the pass wide out by standing in between Sean Edwards and the receiver. So Gregory trying to get Sean Wayne away, the number 10 driving the ball forward. And this is the last tackle, and certainly so far we've not seen any lost possession. As Lydon comes in with the big kick, that's pushed Gary Lord right back to his own line, and the Wigan defensive line was up very, very quickly. Leeds struggling back. Well, Leeds working the ball fairly close, and then the wide ball, and Crooks linking and trying to find some space wide out inside the own 22, so a bit of adventure from Leeds there. Crooks putting Heron into the gap. Heron strong, of course used to play it loose forward. Shelford after Crooks, and Crooks linking well with Gavotti. That whole combination again there, but Jerry Kershaw ruled the pass has gone forward, so we're going to see the first scrum of the game. Jerry Kershaw had a fine game at Leeds, certainly very little trouble on the field, in control all the time. The link with Dean Bell, first touch of the ball for Dean Bell, who had an outstanding game as captain on Saturday, particularly defensively. And Preston has scored that try. Preston's away. Fine break from the left wing there as he came inside. Wigan on the attack, the move is on. Gregory finds the gap, almost, but not quite. Still pressure from Wigan. If Gregory can play this ball quickly. Stazeka looks for Hanley. Hanley looking for the gap. This is certainly going to be a test of Ellery Hanley's fitness. A game of this stature under these conditions. Shelford with the inside ball from Gregory. On the last tackle now. The Leeds defence is holding on. It's going to be a little chip from Gregory, but at the back covering was Izzard. So the early pressure being put on Leeds. Most of the play in or around the Leeds 22-metre area. But Leeds have a lot of pace in their side, and they're certainly quite capable of breaking out of defence. People like Schofield and Phil Ford, of course. Great tackle from Dennis Betts there as he came in very aggressively on Devotee. So Leeds on the last tackle. Coleman in position, links with Devotee. Devotee, natural left foot kicker. Hampson plays football with it and takes and tries to find the gap. David Marshall taking the pressure off the forwards as they realign after that Devotee kick. So back to the half-back combination of Gregory and Edwards, which has been so fruitful for Wigan in the last 3 or 4 matches. Hanley on the burst, linking beautifully with Hampson. He gets Marshall away. That's an interception though. This could be a try. Hanley's covering. Can Hanley get to Coleman? He can indeed. As Gregory and David Marshall get back. The chance of a try at one end then, but tremendous cover from Wigan, particularly Area Hanley. Nullified that break by Coleman. Overlap on the right hand side. Phil Ford trying to get past Lydon. Kicks it through. Hampson's back in position though. So on only the second tackle, Leeds have lost possession, giving it back to Wigan. But a risk perhaps worth taking by Phil Ford as he shot down that right wing. Good strong drive from Andy Platt. So the last tackle now. Back in position is Joe Lydon. Pressure on Joe Lydon from Devotee, but with that superb sidestep, Lydon belts the ball upfield. Lord misjudges it. The ball's gone backwards. And Wigan move up in defence. Lord straight into Hanley and Andy Platt. The play ebbing and flowing, one side to the other. And Lydon certainly, with that tremendous boot, put all sorts of pressure on Gary Lord. So Devotee, who's had a successful transfer from Hull to Leeds. Played with Schofield and of course with Crooks in what was a very good Leeds side. Coleman testing Hampson. Hampson drifts across, just takes it infield from the touchline. Preston again sidestepping past that first man, so that's twice he's made inroads into the Leeds defence. Not been able to finish it off. But there's Shelford with a strong run from the number 8. Edwards linking with Bell. Bell has to come inside, but hits the defensive alignment close to the play the ball. Gregory decides to change the option, puts the kick in, and that's bouncing and bouncing, but just goes into the in-goal area. Crooks shows the dummy, but can't get past Dean Bell. Shelford comes in. Coleman trying to get Dixon away. Good strong former Halifax number 10. Now the last tackle for Leeds. Schofield with the right-footed kick, and he's switched it across field to Wigan's right. Hampson picks it up. And Gibson up very quickly in defence with Vince Fawcett. Again, Wigan realign. The halfbacks calling the tune. Andy Gregory looking for the gap and finding Edwards. Lydon steps inside. But Leeds' defence had moved up well on that outside. So on the last tackle now, Edwards in position, finds Lydon. Lydon with the right foot, and that looks good. In fact, it's just over the line, so it's going to be a handover back inside the Wigan half. Kick on the last tackle, so it's a handover. Lee Crooks takes it up. No support from Leeds though. Maskell, who's one of the paciest hookers around, looking for the gap and finding it. No gap that time. Gregory certainly wrapping up Devotee. Delayed pass then from Craig Coleman as Gary Lord drifted in from the back. But Wigan's defence too good at the moment. As Lee Crooks tried to draw two men towards him then and put David Heron away. Devotee with the drop goal. It's a long range effort, but it's drifted wide. Certainly a drop goal on Saturday would have been a welcome performance. Devotee, a natural left-footed kicker. So the straightforward tap from Jed Stazika. Crowd a little bit silent here. There's a buzz as the teams came out. There was a buzz as the early action, but it's steadied down somewhat now. We've had almost quarter of an hour's play. The score is 0-0 and both defences holding on. Platt driving up that short side and trying to keep in play, but with the slippery conditions, if anybody gets tackled very close to that touchline, then it's odds on. If the tackle comes from the side, they're going to go over that line. Lydon takes the ball well, and Schofield tries the charge down. But once again, it's Gary Lord inside the 22. Again, both wingers on both sides taking the pressure off their forwards as they are driven backwards. And Vince Fawcett, who is a big, strong referee. Heron drifting wide. Edwards almost using the foot by the looks of it as Heron stepped inside him. Coleman in position as Lydon came forward. Hampson takes it superbly and straightens up and goes past Devotie, finds the gap, takes play just over the halfway line. So a memorable start for Steve Hampson. His way in again, makes the bust. The pace hotting up. Dennis Betts not being able to get into any sort of running situation so far. Shelford takes the drive up, looking for the support. Edwards was there certainly, but too many Leeds defenders. Gregory trying and looking with Edwards beautifully inside, but two very well organised defences here. As Lydon, this time it's the high one, and what a massive kick that is. That's a tester for Gary Lord. He's taking it well. Try and take from the fullback. Phil Ford drifts across field, gets past Dennis Betts, dummies David Marshall, but can't get through. That's the sort of pace that Phil Ford is capable of. But Leeds back where they've been quite a lot in this first part of the game, inside their own 22. But they've got possession and they'll soak up the pressure. Make Wigan do the tackling. Well, conditions certainly very similar to Headingley last Saturday, but so far the control of the ball has been so much more. Hardly a drop ball. Conditions bad. Preston, the hero in that last desperate second try in the first half on Saturday. And another hero stepping in for Martin Durbert, Jed Stazika. And perhaps the biggest hero of them all, Ellery Hanley. That's what the crowd want to see. Ellery Hanley in full flow. There's no finer sight. So Andy Platt taking the ball up to the 22. Dean Bell gets in the action, links with Dennis Betts. But we're on the last tackle again. And is there going to be a variation in the kick this time? Gregory with the chip to the corner. That's perhaps gone a bit too far for Steve Hampson. It was a planned move with Hampson coming up on that short side, but the kick just drifting too far. That's going to be a tap on the 22. Andy Gregory back in the action after a flu virus has laid him low for over a week. Leeds take it out. Izzard finding the gap and trying to push off Andy Platt. There's certainly no way forward for Gary Devotie there. Great defence from Wigan. Crooks, who's dangerous, and linking inside. Great play from the former Great Britain forward, and it's set Leeds in motion, and most of the prompting so far has come from Crooks as Leeds push into Wigan's half. And Lynham puts the pressure on Crooks, and the ball went down. Schofield tidies it up, but it's the last tackle now. Maskell in position with the right foot. That's going to find touch on the Wigan 22, and that's going to be a scrum with Wigan feed. So Gregory feeds the scrimmage, and well-controlled ball at the back. Edwards dummies it down, tries to find the gap and puts Lydon almost into it. So adventure inside Wigan's 22. Joe Lydon looking slightly injured in that tackle as Dean Bell takes it up. Wayne stepping through again. That's twice the number 10 has made some inroads into this Leeds defence. Now the halfbacks take over. Gregory looking for support, but the Leeds defence too good on that occasion. So Edwards decides to kick, and this is certainly a game of tactical kicking and tactical play. That's a fine kick from Sean Edwards, and Wigan have in Lydon, Edwards and Gregory probably three of the finest kickers in rugby league. This time it's Coleman to feed the scrummage inside his 22, and again the ball won as you'd expect. Heron tries to drift past Sean Edwards with that side step off the right leg, but Hanley very quickly out of the pack, and so far the loose forward has shown no ill effects of the injury that he had. It's kept him out of the game all season. Leeds still inside their own 22 and still not making any progress. And again, Wigan defence holding on, so Leeds only just able to make it outside their 22. The Schofield gets in for the kick, and that's another slice, but Hampson again taking it well. Drifts across to the left-hand side and straightens inside. Great play from Hampson. Well, a glimpse of the class which I'm sure we're going to miss in the next 10 games. Steve Hampson slicing through there, and there's Edwards on a run, close to the play of the ball. Gregory takes over and links this time Adrian Shelford. Shelford running across field, linking with Dean Bell. Bell almost makes that outside break past Carl Gibson. Gibson just gets to him. In again goes the big man on the last tackle now. Wigan just 10 metres short of the Leeds line. Hanley takes the pass, but certainly would have been a handover anyway. To Leeds. Crooks this time with no real drive, no real effort. Perhaps the big number 8's not as fit as he used to be. He's certainly been out of action quite a bit this season, and that could be a telling factor. He came off the field at Headingley in the second half. There's one man who does go strongly, and that's Dixon. And one man who we haven't seen a great deal of tonight, that's Craig Coleman, and they're getting into all sorts of trouble with pressure from Joe Lydon. Devotee with the kick. Dean Bell back in position. So he drifting across the field and trying to roll off that tackle from Lee Crooks. David Marshall again getting into the act, so the play has shifted from the right-hand side as both Dean Bell and David Marshall have got into the act. Can Wigan build an attack and break this defensive line? The half-backs link. There's Hanley on the burst. but it's still good Leeds defence that's kept him out. The referee having a word with Andy Gregory, and he's given a penalty to Leeds, and that's obviously something that Andy Gregory said. So Andy Gregory not too pleased about that. I don't think he was too pleased about the tackle on Ellery Hanley, and that's what's prompted the remark. But that's certainly a penalty. Jerry Kershaw in telling Ellery Hanley what it was for, and then telling the crowd at the same time. Colin Maskell then with that right-footed kick. Well, we've had no tries, no goals. We've had almost 25 minutes play, but it's been pretty hard action here at Central Park. There's been some excellent defence on both sides. The first 5 minutes there were a couple of breaks from Wigan, but not quite finished off. Well, no doubt in Jerry Kershaw's mind then, that was obstruction. That's a penalty to Wigan. The pass behind the back of the Leeds player. Joe Lydon, who has been kicking superbly out of the hand all year, perhaps a little bit inconsistent with his goal kicking, but it was that Lydon conversion off Henderson Gill's try on Saturday, which, from the touchline, which is as much as Preston's try, put them in today's replay. Hanley on the dummy as Andy Platt takes it across the field. So the play building up now. Wigan putting pressure on Leeds inside their 22. It's wide to the half-backs. Drift across field as Lydon steps inside. The ball being kept alive as Sean Wayne hits it up. Trying to find a hole, but the ball has gone down. Leeds pick it up, but the play will come back, and Jerry Kershaw will indicate the scrum for lost ball in the tackle. And that's one of the few lapses tonight in Wigan's control of this ball. As Shelford goes off the field, it's going to be Bobby Goulding to come on, so certainly Goulding will not play number 8. In fact, he's going to Hooker and Jez Stazika into the second row. So there, an interesting change by John Boney. Well, Heron's got away from the high tackle and trying to link. Fawcett has to come back because there's too many Wigan players there, but finds Devorty in space. So Wigan have got back. As Leeds broke away there, Heron getting inside. Crooks takes it over the halfway line and still keeps it going. Schofield against Hanley. But Ellery has got enough pace, and he's certainly got enough ability to counteract that Schofield break. Leeds in attack now. Coleman trying to put Devorty away. We've seen little of the power of Craig Izzard so far, or even Mark Lawrie. But now Leeds moving it wide, and there is Lawrie sidestepping this big Australian and trying to link. The two halfbacks managed to hang on though. Maskell again making the break close to the play the ball. Leeds now on the last tackle. Coleman in position on this short side, and it's Coleman who takes the ball. He puts the ball through, but it's been picked by Dean Bell, and Dean Bell kicks it through, and this is a big chase as Dean Bell pushes it upfield. Cover from Gary Lord, so Leeds secure possession. Gibson has got back, and Gibson's a very elusive runner. Deceptive pace, well balanced, was in the Great Britain squad. Again, Lee Crooks taking the play to the Wigan defence, but this time can't get rid of that ball in the tackle. Well, Colin Maskell has already made 2 breaks from acting half-back. Well, that time not quite getting away. Izzard with the dummy. And Craig Izzard, who's an all-round talented Australian player. And there's another one, Coleman, but not linking well enough with Helen that time. The gap was certainly there, and Wigan have almost bought 2 dummies from the last 3 play the balls. But it's a handover. It's Goulding who's standing in his hooker, and certainly his distribution will be good, and there'll be no faulting his effort as he drifts towards the play the ball. Dennis Betts running wide, one of the few occasions we've seen so far. We've got just about 10 minutes left for play in this first half, a tremendously tense half so far. It's been pressure, but the defences have held out. Will they keep holding out as Hanley hits the gap and loses the ball as Crooks's tackle forced the mistake from Ellery Hanley. But Jerry Kershaw giving the penalty. Devotee not being allowed to play the ball by Ellery Hanley. So again, Maskell finding the successful touch on the left-hand side. Fawcett hitting the defensive line. And now Dixon at full pace, but runs straight into Wayne. Good tackle from Sean Wayne. Now the set move as Izzard hits the gap close to the play of the ball. The double dummy left and right of the play of the ball, and then the hit straight up the middle. Laurie trying to get into the act, but no way forward. Schofield with the drop goal, but again that's wide. Conditions certainly not as heavy as at Leeds, but certainly still difficult to kick the drop goal. So Jed Stazziger takes that drive from the tap on the 22 after that abortive attempt by Gary Schofield at the drop goal. And with over half an hour gone, we have to say, is this going to be another draw? And will there be another replay? A great dummy from Edwards. But surely perhaps one of these sides is going to break in defence. There's no sign at the moment. Dean Bell sidestepping off that left foot and almost staying on his feet. Good tackle from Gibson. Lydon in position, takes the ball safely. Slices the ball off the right foot, but that slice has meant that it's bounced into touch. Joe Lydon shaking his head, not too happy about the kick, but the eventual outcome in fact was probably better than the deep kick downfield to the corner. As Jerry Kershaw sorts out the front rows, Coleman ready to feed the scrimmage. Certainly it's odds on possession for the side who feed. And Leeds back on their 22-metre line. Laurie getting into the act. Dean Bell puts in the second tackle on the run, looking for work. Coleman decides to kick on the fourth tackle, and that's gone straight downfield. That's bounced well, that's bounced into touch. So taking the pressure off his side, pushing them 60 yards forward downfield, and that's going to be a scrum with Wigan's feed. Well, the pack settled down. Certainly the game so far, as it was on Saturday, full of lots of endeavour, but any rare efforts with dirty play, and a rare penalty. In fact, Jerry Kershaw saying that Lord wasn't allowing his opposite number, Steve Hampson, to play the ball. So as Andy Gregory and Ellery Hanley sort out the tap penalty, the ball goes into touch and Andy Platt takes the drive. That's a penalty. Jerry Kershaw quite sure about why the penalty was given. It's Andy Platt, in fact, who's down on the floor, and it looked like a high tackle. There's treatment coming on as Keith Mills comes onto the field, but so far he hasn't spoken to any of the Leeds players. Gary Schofield, the captain, is there. Well, Andy Platt seems to be okay. Keith Mills has administered the magic cold sponge. Leiden applies the boot. The pressure back on Leeds. The tap penalty which Goulding takes to himself. Second drive. Wigan relentlessly going forward now. The move is on. Wayne with Gregory. The wide ball to Edwards. Edwards trying to find a hole. Drifts away and still keeps on his feet. But Heron has chased him across the field and eventually makes the tackle. Again, this time Goulding with Gregory, and Gregory decides to chip it forward. That's an accurate kick, but Fawcett's in position. Tries to duck under Hanley's tackle, but Ellery Hanley and Dean Bell quickly in. And Gary Lord, who's almost as big as any member in the pack, very useful for running it out at the back. And that ball's been taken. Play on, says the referee. No, it's a penalty. Sean Wayne very disappointed, I'm sure. He seemed to take the ball away. Ellery Hanley in the way there. Schofield trying to take the quick tap and gaining an extra 10 metres. The crowd really not happy about the decision. A lot of atmosphere here at Central Park, and certainly Sean Wayne took that ball away possibly before he was tackled, but in the opinion of the referee, the ball was taken after the tackle, which of course is a penalty, and Leeds have scrambled their way to the halfway lines. Well, trying to move it wide, but no way forward. Certainly it is quite slippery out there. It's probably getting worse as the game goes on. Conditions not ideal. Leiden moving up very well against his Great Britain partner Gary Schofield. Devorty kicks and tests Steve Hampson. That's bouncing towards the touchline, but Steve Hampson playing football, picks it up, links with Preston. Preston deceptively quick, bursting through there. So Wigan in possession just outside their own 22. And with just over 2 minutes left for play, there's still no score in this first half. Sean Wayne getting up quickly, playing the ball. As again, the 6 and 7 link. Andy Gregory can't get through. It's like a high tackle, and certainly Andy Gregory feeling the effects of it. As Jerry Kershaw stops the clock, Ellery Hanley, I'm sure he's saying that was pretty high. Well, certainly Andy Gregory feeling the effects of that tackle. But back in the action, and the ball back to Edwards. Edwards with the kick this time. So it's been fairly standard form. Leeds defending well, and Wigan having to resort to the kick on the last tackle. Which side will succumb to the pressure? We shall see. But at the moment it's Leeds in possession just outside their 22, and it's Wigan who are applying the pressure with their defence, which has been almost immaculate so far. And one man there in the tackle, Ellery Hanley, certainly given full value for money in this first half. Doesn't look as if he's been out of the game since September. And there's a mistake by Leeds as Coleman flings it inside. Good pressure from Wigan there as Gregory moves up, but they still manage to get it away. Lord with the left-footed kick. Hampson takes it on the burst and sidestep through. Veers away and links with Edwards. A chance on the left. Edwards with the change of pace. Preston against Ford. Ford not renowned for being the best of tacklers, but certainly swinging those arms around Mark Preston's head. Jed Stazziger takes it up. We're into injury time in this first half. It was this time at Headingley, of course, that Wigan scored that dramatic try. Will they do it once more? The dummy from Gregory. And again, this time it's a link to Dean Bell. Bobby Goulding trying to find a gap. Now the last tackle. So as Goulding plays the ball, it's Edwards in position, one out. And Edwards with the high kick. That's perhaps not far enough, but Preston's there, Ford's there, Hampson's there. The ball's gone forward, but Leeds have got possession. And it looks as if we're going to go into the change rooms at half-time without any score on the board. Maskell driving away from acting halfback. Schofield trying to put Crooks away, but the big number 8 has gone less and less into this game as the half has gone on. Schofield decides to kick. That's accurate, that's long, and that's in touch. And there is the hooter for half-time. It's an enthralling quarter-final replay here at Central Park. No score so far, but plenty of throws to come. And there, one man, Ellery Hanley, drifting off the field. He'll be quite satisfied with his first half performance, and I'm sure so will coach John Money. Jerry Kershaw blows the whistle. The second half is in motion. And we've now had 80 minutes play without a single point being scored. That's a tremendous indication, in fact, of the defences of both sides. Of course, the last 40 minutes at Headingley were without any score at all. And now the first 40 minutes here. Steve Hampson again takes it well. And gets the ball away. Good support from Preston. Preston, who's had little opportunity, of course, in the game to show his real pace with the defences being so tight, but on a couple of occasions he's managed to get through. Good linking to Andy Pad. He's had a good strong first half, the Great Britain second row. Wigan just getting inside the Leeds half. Back to Joe Lydon for the kick, and again a massive kick. Gary Lord underneath it. Juggles, fumbles, but the ball has gone backwards. And both teams have had new sets of jerseys in the second half. One or two, of course, perhaps a little bit superstitious and not changing. Andy Gregory being one. So now Leeds turn, as they did so often in that first half, trying to push the ball out from their own 22. Izzard on the break, on the outside. Certainly a dangerous player is Craig Izzard. Powerful and very sharp over the first 10 yards, as is Mark Lowry. But Leeds have eaten up those tackles. And Heron in position, not expecting that one from Coleman. And that's sliced. Lydon gets across it. And Schofield picks him up. Wigan appealing for not being 5 metres. So Stazziger tries to get away from Gary Schofield. Goulding trying to go to the middle. No way forward. Gregory trying to switch the play, but a slight lack of coordination there for the move as Edwards drifts in, and this time pushes it upfield. What's an accurate testing kick for Fawcett as he drifts back and tries to get past Dean Bell, and does so. Sidestep inside, but Dean Bell gets back. and makes the tackle. Crooks in possession, trying to force the gap. Well, a few glimpses in the first half of Mark Lawry's ability, but not really firing on all cylinders. Dixon's made one or two strong runs, and there's another one. Seems to have this ability to lunge into tackles and then bounce out of them. Devoted putting pressure then. That was certainly pressure on Crooks. It's gone forwards. Joe Lydon moving up very, very quickly indeed. And Crooks, in the end, did well to keep possession. But Leeds putting a little bit of pressure on themselves there. Just outside their own 22, it's a Wigan feed in the scrimmage. It's Gregory feeds Edwards, a wide ball to Bell. Great link with Edwards on the run around. And Edwards has found the gap and kicks over the top. That seemed to be obstruction. Edwards goes on the floor as Ford drifts away. But certainly Sean Edwards went down on the ground as he kicked over the top. Having a word with Jerry Kershaw, but it's play on and it's Leeds possession. And there the set move from the scrum as Edwards drifted round and found the gap on the inside. Good tackle from Bobby Goulding, and Jed Stasic are moving up quickly on Craig Izzard. Now Coleman in position. This time he doesn't risk the pass. He puts the kick in. Steve Hampson superbly positioned as ever. Takes it cleanly, but also takes Mark Lawry's tackle. Again, Wigan move it wide, so perhaps an indication of some change of tactics in this second half. We've had two very early balls wide out. Marshall tries to drift across and straighten up. The dummy inside, is that intercepted? It's gone down. Jerry Kershaw blows the whistle. He says that's gone forward. I think the Wigan players, and certainly Andy Gregory, thought that Leeds had played it. But Jerry Kershaw has indicated the scrum. And Craig Coleman will feed the ball. Sean Wayne there with number 10 on his back, but he's in the number 8 position. Inside ball to Gibson. Gibson, who has shown that elusiveness just once in that first half. Laurie on the short side, showing a bit of strength, but too many Wigan jerseys once again. And Dixon, this time rolling off rather than bouncing off. And Izzard driving in and then stepping out of the tackle, but Wigan hanging on, and very quickly a lot of support there for Dennis Betts. On the halfway line, Coleman kicks upfield and finds the touch. That's a fine kick from an excellent number 7. Well, the substitute, in fact, is Hugh Waddell, who's come on the field. But it's Craig Izzard there going off the field. He certainly got an injury in that first half and has some treatment. And Waddell, who's come back, of course, from injury with that broken jaw as a result of the tackle that was made on him in the Widnes game. So a big test for him tonight. Southampton can't quite get the three-quarter line away, but that is certainly not allowing the player to play the ball quickly. And Edwards picks it up. That seemed high from Waddell. That was his first. That was Dixon, in fact, who made that tackle on Edwards. There's the break from Betts. Betts in full flow. At last, the big number 11 has got away and keeps the legs going. Oh, tremendous play from the number 11. What a marvellous run from Dennis Betts. That really brought the crowd to their feet, and Wigan now in with a chance. They move the ball wide. There's men over. Platt hits the gap. Links with Edwards. Great play. Stazika goes through. 10 yards short. The pressure on Leeds. Gregory looking for the play. Handley's there. Almost a fairy tale try for Ellery Handley. Just held short. Goulding and acting halfback. Gregory trying to find the gap. Dummies, runs around, looks for space. Eventually finds Hampson with the kick. Hampson going for the ball. Leaps high. But it's Leeds who got possession. A slight obstruction there, but it was Schofield who took the ball. And that certainly was pressure which Leeds eventually withstood. And Wigan just so desperately close. All set up, of course, by that marvellous run from Dennis Betts. First real opportunity we've had of seeing what surely will be one of our future internationals. And there's Crooks, and that's certainly a mistake. So Leeds perhaps are feeling the pressure a little bit now. All sorts of pressure from Dennis Betts, and then all sorts of pressure from Lee Crooks that his side could well do without. So will there be a set move from Wigan as Jerry Kershaw eventually gets the scrummage right? It's collapsed, but the ball's been won. Gregory and Handley linking as Edwards acted as the pivot. And Gregory again. This time it's Stazika. Stazika, who's reliable, will take the ball up strongly all day. Now the ball wide. Edwards again trying to put Platt away. It was that link with Platt and Edwards which almost got Wigan to the Leeds line. This time Handley. Just 12-13 metres away from the Leeds line. Gregory looking for the inside. Great pick-up from Goulding. Strong little terrier this boy is. He's playing at hooker, and that's certainly a rare occurrence for him, but he's lost the ball. And Leeds breathe another sigh of relief. Can they withstand the pressure? Can Wigan get over? Dummy from Maskell once more as he ducks under that tackle from Joe Lydon. No way forward for Dixon this time. But there's Waddell, who's had an outstanding season last year for Great Britain. But that's gone forward, and a bit of over-ambitious play perhaps by Leeds once more. First by Crooks and then now by Hugh Waddell. And another chance for Wigan to set up the pressure on this Leeds side. The scrum about 18 metres out, just in front of the post, centre of the field. The ball's gone down, and Jerry Kershaw is reordering the scrum. And certainly the scrum is disintegrating there. Gregory feeds the scrum and links, but the ball goes on the floor. Edwards plays safe with the boot and then runs into Heron. Dean Bell trying to swivel out of the defence. Wigan need really to set a move up to break this barrier. Great play from Platt to Lydon. Lydon almost bursting through Ford's tackle. Certainly Joe Lydon taking that ball at full speed. And Andy Platt revelling in the action there, close to the play the ball. Now it's the wide ball. The dummy run around. Great ball, but it's had to be kicked through by Hampson. It's probably gone too far, but the overlap was certainly on that right-hand side. The pass just not quite going into Hampson's hands. So Leeds again breathe a sigh of relief as Hugh Waddell takes it up, keeps those strong legs going and offloads. Schofield in support. Leeds again, looking a bit dangerous now as Wigan are pushed backwards to the halfway line. They've made 20 metres in 2 drives. Now they push it wide. Laurie trying to get Schofield away, but Schofield makes the mistake. The ball's gone down. It's to be a scrum, and it's going to be Wigan's feed. Gary Schofield frustrated there, but not taking that chance. So as Joe Lydon comes off the field, it's Philip Clark who slots into the pack at loose forward, and Ellery Hanley out into the centre. Philip Clark, who had, of course, an outstanding game at Headingley last week when he came on as sub for the injured Andy Goodway. Back in the action once again. Steve Hampson takes the ball. One out off Sean Edwards. Dennis Betts trying to get in the action off the set move as they drift across the field from the scrum. Again, Sean Wayne trying to punch through the Leeds defensive line. And Goulding takes the drive on his own. Now out to Edwards. Edwards finding the gap, but that closed up pretty quickly, and it's the last tackle. Andy Gregory in position, pushing it wide and stretching Gary Lord. That's going to bounce into touch. What an astute kick from the Wigan number 7. More pressure on Leeds. From that scrum, Gary Lord has come into the action and burst towards the 22. But it's Wigan defence holding on, and a reposition there for Ellery Hanley as he drifts out towards the centre. He's withstood the onslaught so far. A great tribute to his fitness. We've had quarter of an hour in the second half. There's 25 minutes left, and neither defence has cracked. But that's gone forward again, and then another loose pass from Lee Crooks, who's been told in no uncertain terms, I think by Craig Coleman, that mistakes must be at a premium. Off comes Jed Stazika, and on comes Shelford. So Adrian Shelford back in the action, and it's Bobby Goulding who's staying on as hooker. Hanley takes the ball and takes Gary Schofield at the same time. International against international. What a confrontation. Hampson coming in on the short side. Shelford takes it well and runs into Crooks. And that's been taken off him. There's a little bit of fisticuffs between the two number 8s. That's really the first nastiness in the game, but certainly as Shelford took that ball up, it was Crooks who came in, it seemed, with the head, and that's going to be the first chance of this game for a penalty kick at goal. Bobby Goulding then it is to take over the kicking, and what a pressure kick this for the youngster. He's kicked it well. That's 2 points for Wigan. Wigan in the lead, the crowd in uproar. Bobby Goulding withstood the pressure. The first points to Wigan. Quick kick-off, of course, by Leeds, as they're entitled to do. And the first run there from Philip Clark. So the game alight now. We've had our first score, and will that see perhaps a run of scores now? Andy Platt takes the ball up, and it was the robbing of the ball in the tackle, I think, which resulted in the penalty as Shelford took it up. Leeds had one early in the first half, but that wasn't within kickable distance. Gregory now tries to get Shelford away. A big hit from the number 8 there. Now it's Hampson at the back who's taken over Lydon's position with kicking, and that's certainly a fine kick. Testing Lord. He's equal to it though. The big fullbacks had a fine game so far, particularly under all that pressure that Joe Lydon put on him. For now, Wigan in the lead by those 2 points, and they've got just over 20 minutes play to maintain or even increase that lead. The semi-final place is the reward for winning this game tonight. Devorti now in position, trying to move it wide. The runners were there, but good defence from Wigan. Coleman this time kicks, it's charged down. Philip Clark has got back there, bounces on the ball. So will Leeds be more adventurous now, and will Wigan play more safety first rugby? There's a long time left, but Wigan have got that crucial first score. Ellery Hanley, welcome return for him, and certainly he would be very pleased to go through the game without injury, and of course more pleased if Wigan win. Oh, fine kick there from young Goulding as he pushes the ball upfield. So Leeds feeling the pressure of Wigan's kicking and finding themselves once more forced back into their 22-metre area. Well, Coleman feeds, but the ball's gone backwards, and Leeds have made one or two mistakes inside their own 22. Gibson drifting across, made a couple of breaks, but no way forward this time. Dennis Betts quickly out of the scrum. Sean Edwards adds support. Waddell running strong, but straight into a strong defence. Manages to offload. Leeds keep it alive. There's not an overlap. In fact, there were only 3 Leeds players to 4 Wigan defenders, and they easily mopped up the Leeds side. Has that gone forward? No, says Jerry Kershaw. That's a great break. As Leeds come forward, play on. Gary Schofield in the clear. Leeds trying to keep this ball alive. But it's the last tackle. Will Coleman kick or Heron? Heron has spotted the gap. Looks for Crooks, but Crooks, who's also an adept kicker, pushes the ball upfield. The big number 8, skillful with the boot as he is with the hand. As Bobby Goulding gets down into the hurly-burly of the front row, it's Gregory who feeds. Hanley at 6, and Hanley's going to run straight at the opposition and straight through them. Good strong run from the Wigan skipper. Hampson steps inside Schofield's tackle and almost gets away from Paul Dixon. Now Platt hitting it up. Good strong run from him. Gregory, the dummy inside, and the link outside to Bell. Bell puts Marshall away on the right wing. We've seen little of David Marshall in clear space, but that's what he's capable of. Fine run from the winger. He's so strong in the tackle, steps through it so easily. Wigan have got a chance. Gregory decides to turn it inside, but we're now on the last tackle. Edwards in position. That's the high kick. That's hanging. Ford's in there. Hanley's up. The ball goes loose. Great cover from Gary Lord, but all sorts of pressure on Leeds. They're just 2 metres from their own line. Ford has to drift away. That's a great tackle from Andy Platt, anticipating Ford's run across field. Still Leeds trying to get it out away from their own goal line. Coleman drifting across, finding Devorti. Stepping inside, but still Wigan make the tackle. Now Crooks trying to put Schofield away, and Schofield gets away past Hanley. The Ford's clear on this right wing, a kick ahead from him. Hampson gets across. Good cover from the fullback as he runs into the boardings on the side. But there, the danger of Gary Schofield and Phil Ford, and there, the cover of Great Britain, fullback Steve Hampson. So Leeds under pressure, or under siege almost, on their own line. Now back to within striking distance. The Schofield links with Coleman. The set move from the scrum. Edwards has spotted it. Offside. It's Ellery Hanley's offside. And this, the first possible penalty attempt by Leeds. Gary Schofield makes a decision. It's going to be a penalty attempt and a chance to draw level the scores once more. So Colin Maskell, successful with 3 kicks on Saturday. Now a big pressure kick for him. He lines it up, he's kicked it well, he's missed it, it's gone to the left. Wigan still lead by those 2 points. Disappointed captain Gary Schofield. So Steve Hampson will take the drop kick and boot this ball downfield as far as possible. He does so, but only as far as Ford. And Phil Ford runs straight into Andy Platt. Gary Lord getting from the back, trying to take the play into Wigan's half. Laurie stepping and trying to burst through, but again good Wigan defence. Philip Clark, a good tackle from him with Sean Wayne. Coleman trying to prompt, trying to get the forwards moving. But it's the last tackle now, and Leeds 40 yards away. Heron trying to prompt. The ball's gone down, and Andy Platt has briefly accepted it. Wigan possession. Leeds have got to be ambitious. There's less than quarter of an hour left for play here. Dean Bell stepping through. What a tense, exciting game this is. 2 tremendous sides. The conditions not ideal, but some excellent defence and tremendous control of the ball. Shelford hits it up close and strongly. Gets up quickly. Wigan on the move forward. There's a gap on this side. Betts in space once again. Pushes off one man. Can't get past Crooks' tackle. But it's the last tackle now. There's the kick from Goulding. Good if it's taken. Inside to Shelford. To Edwards. A try for Wigan. A marvellous try for Sean Edwards. And what a superbly piece of skillful play that was by Bobby Goulding. He kicked over the top. He took the ball miraculously himself. Linking inside was the big number 8 Adrian Shelford, and what a perfect timing of a pass that was to Sean Edwards. And Sean Edwards, the ace supporter, has put Wigan into a 6-0 lead. Goulding then, the creator. This would put Wigan 8 points clear. It is 8 points clear. Goulding, the man of the moment. Well, can Leeds fight back from that killer blow there? When the defences have held out for so long. It took a piece of magic to break that defence down. It was provided by the youngster. It was finished off by Sean Edwards. But it's Wigan who take the lead. And it's Wigan who want to hang on to that 8 points for the next 11 minutes of this game. Oh, what a great run from Philip Clark. Another youngster in Wigan's colours. The dummy from Gregory. Trying to put Shelford in the gap. Heron spotted it and moved up well. But Wigan still in possession, and it's the last one. Hampson in position at the back. Almost a charge down from Devotee. But that ball has drifted wide. It's drifted into touch just inside the Wigan half. The wind slightly against Wigan. in this second half, and that being caught by the wind, just drifting slightly to the right. Jerry Kershaw talking to both front rows, but it's going to be a straightforward feed for Leeds. Heron dummies and goes on his own. Bizarre quickly out of the scrum, trying to offload, almost gets Laurie clear. That was ambitious, and it was good play, but it wasn't quite there. So Wigan to feed the scrum. Gregory linking with Edwards, but the ball's been taken away from him at the back of the scrum. It looked certainly offside. The scrum had broken up. Leeds had wheeled round. Laurie in the clear, almost looking for support. Schofield was there, but the tackle was too effective. Now Devorty. As Joe Lydon looks fit to return, we'll have to wait for a stoppage in play. But there is Creaser on the field for Gibson, getting Fawcett away on the inside. Creaser linking with Coleman. Coleman trying to get a forward through. Laurie's clear. Laurie's going. Great cover defence there from Dean Bell. But Leeds on the attack, and perhaps stretching Wigan for the first time. A great pick up there. Schofield almost getting that ball away on the right wing. It's forward over. It's gone forward. Jerry Kershaw indicating a forward pass. So that's going to be a scrum. That'll be a chance for Lydon to come on the field. And that will also be a little respite for Wigan as we come to the last 7 or 8 minutes of play. And it's Steve Hampson who's coming off the field. Joe Lydon coming back, and he'll play at full back for the rest of the game. Steve Hampson's last game probably for another 10 matches, but he certainly played his part in tonight's performance. Good drive away from Philip Clark. And again, Dean Bell exploding, punching those knees forward, driving his team. It was Leeds who seemed to tire at Headingley as Wigan put on that final onslaught. Will that happen again now? Certainly the incentive is there, the semi-final place. Now Lydon in position at the back, and a lot of pressure on him, and Edwards knew it and went on his own. So Goulding puts the kick up, but that's gone straight in, it would seem. So it was the handover from that kick from Dean Bell, and it's pressure on Wigan now. They soaked enough of it up at Headingley. They're going to have to soak up some now. Devorty sidestepping off that left leg. And Heron came through, and he certainly flattened Goulding, and Jerry Kershaw has sent him off the field. No hesitation. Heron went through supporting, and he had no hesitation, pushed the elbow up. So the penalty to Wigan. Joe Lydon takes safety first, puts the ball on the floor and kicks it into touch. Wigan in possession, 5 minutes left for play. Shelford takes the drive. Strong, aggressive play from the number 8. Goulding at Ati half-back, wanting to get on with the game quickly. Gregory links this time with Wayne. Wayne drifting across, almost getting away from that tackle. Gregory again, prompting and probing, looking for that elusive gap. Gets on his feet quickly though to play the ball. And again, Wigan keeping possession and driving towards that halfway line. Back to Lydon again. Lydon back on the field, kicking deep and getting the ball to Lord just outside his 22. Ford drifting across, links with Coleman, back inside to Ford, and Ford a big side stepper off that left foot. Not big enough to get past a great tackle from Philip Clark. Crooks offloading, putting pressure on. Clark moves in quickly, but still Leeds keep the ball alive. Devotee trying to find a gap. Dixon drifting across the field, trying to be playmaker, not usually his forte. And Schofield drifting wide, great ball to Creaser, great tackle from Dean Bell, well spotted by the Kiwi international. Laurie pumps it upfield, Lydon fumbles and slips, so a chance for Leeds. The scrum will be on the 10-metre line and on Wigan's 22. It'll be a Leeds feed, and certainly perhaps a last chance for them to get back into this game. They're trailing by those 8 points, and there's just 3 minutes left. Devotee out of the pack, linking with Creaser. That's a gate ball as Lord comes in from the back, but Lydon has spotted him and picks up his man. Coleman juggles, and that allows the Wigan defence to move up and smother any chance of the ball being moved out. So Leeds switching it back to the left-hand side now, just outside Wigan's 22. But the tackles are going by and the chance is lost as they set up a set move. That's an interception from Edwards, but Edwards has knocked on. Almost a certain try. Almost Edwards' second try. Is he so disgusted with himself for not taking it? Frustration. But certainly that would have put Wigan out of reach. Again, it's a Leeds feed. This time the Wigan pack driving Leeds backwards. Devotee out at 6, tries to push his way through. Philip Clark quickly out of the scrum. Crooks looking to offload. He can't get through the 3 Wigan defenders. Well, the time ticking by. Leeds trying to push it wide. What a tremendous tackle that was from little Bobby Goulding. Again the overlap on that side. Creases put Fawcett away, but Fawcett's made a mess of it as he shows his disgust, kicking the ball into the sideline. That was a chance. Wigan were desperately short on that side. The overlap was created. Good handling by Leeds, but Fawcett dropping that vital last pass. Gregory feeds the scrum once more and decides to keep possession. Safety first from him. We're into the last minute of actual playing time. A little bit of injury time to be added on. And Philip Clark keeps the same tactics, driving the ball away, as does Dennis Betts, but this time links with Ellery Hanley. The halfway line has been reached. Dean Bell drifting across, trying to push. He would have been in touch, I think, so he's decided to kick the ball upfield. And Lord gets away from the first tackle, but can't get away from Joe Lydon's tackle. Phil Ford, great run from him down that line, but David Marshall covered well. So Wigan almost certain to go through to the semi-finals now with this 8-point margin. We're into any time added on by the timekeepers for injury. It's been a fantastically absorbing tie. Defences have been superb. Joe Lydon comes in from the back to take the kick. They're in possession now. If they keep that, I'm sure that Wigan will be through to the next round. Joe Lydon, with obviously what is a bit of cramp, takes his time playing the ball. Sean Edwards looks for the supporting players. comes from Dennis Betts. Leeds perhaps giving up now. There is the final hooter. Wigan through in a tremendous match here at Central Park. 8-0 was the final margin, but it was a marvellous try set up by Bobby Goulding. And there the youngster, tremendously happy, congratulating the Leeds players. He's had a fine game. Well, Ellery, how does it feel to be back on the field again after such a long absence?
Well, it was absolutely tremendous. It was a great roar from the spectators and everything, and I can assure you they helped me, lift me, and gave me the confidence what I needed. And you know, I'd like to say congratulations to them, because I tell you, they're a great bunch of supporters. I probably, if I'd been playing for anybody else, I probably wouldn't have had that lift and that urgency about me to go through the whole game. And I've got to give credit to the spectators.
Before the game, what were your thoughts about, you know, the match? It was going to be a hard game. Obviously, it was a quarter-final against a good side.
Yeah, that's right. You know, all respect to Leeds. They're always going to be a tough side, whether you play them home or away, and whether it be in a league match or whether it be in a friendly game. It's always going to be hard. But my thoughts before the game, I always thought confident, and I always felt that, you know, the main things were that I'd come through unscathed. I wouldn't suffer a recurrence of the injury, and secondly, and probably most importantly, really, that Wigan won, really, and that we got through to the semi-finals. I'd have felt dejected more than anything if we'd lost or anything had gone wrong in the game, because I'm the sort of person I would have put the total blame on myself, really, basically.
A lot of frustration must have crept in when you were out of the game. I mean, how did you feel, for example, when New Zealand were battling against Great Britain?
Well, you know, one of the things in rugby league, I always believe that, you know, when you've got 13 players or 15 players or a whole squad of players, you've got to play with the personnel you've got, and you can't reflect back, whether you be a manager or whether you be a player playing in the team. You can't reflect back and say to yourself, well, only if we had if, you know. But, you know, I think you've just got to play with the person you've got. From a personal point of view, I was disappointed that I wasn't playing, I wasn't part of the squad. But, you know, it's an occupational hazard, being a pro footballer, and you've got to just accept them things.
So basically, you're glad to be back, and you're looking forward to more success for Wigan and more success for the Great Britain Rugby League team.
That's right. You know, it's a great bonus to me, simply because I actually didn't think I'd be playing this season, and due to the fact that Morris put a piece in the paper, and we found an absolutely exceptional clinic down in London, in Chiswick. Alan Watson and Martin Dawes, who did a tremendous job of me down there at the Bimel section at the Hogarth Centre, and they've got me through 100%. And you know, I've got to take my hat off to them. You know, I thank them all with everything, really, because if it wasn't for them, I can assure you that I probably wouldn't have been playing this season. And
there's no immediate reactions after the game?
No, I don't feel anything at all. I feel good. I feel healthy. You know, I treated myself well. I trained beforehand for the last sort of 4 weeks. I trained hard, cross country, tackling, passing the ball, doing the little small skill drills and everything, and I feel good.
Well, you mentioned Morris, and Maurice Lindsay is with us here now. Maurice, what does it mean really to Wigan to have Ellery back in the side?
Well, it means everything, really, Alan. We've waited since he returned in August, following his stint out with Western Suburbs, and ever since the day that Ellery rang me and said he thought he had a problem, it's just been worry upon worry. We were really concerned when Ellery wasn't making progress after the operation, and Ellery and I have been in almost daily contact about the matter, and it really was a disturbing thought that arguably the best player in the world might not see the field again, or if he did, we didn't know when. And I have to echo what Ellery said. We took a flyer and put something in the national press that we were looking for a miracle cure, looking for a magician somewhere, and he rang. It was this Alan Watson, who runs this Bible clinic at the health club in Chiswick, and Ellery's right. He's tremendous. He's one of the best consultant physiotherapists that you could ever meet in the world. And I know that he's made extra efforts to get Ellery right, because he took a liking to Ellery. He was extremely interested in Ellery's progress, and he was on the phone at 7:45 this morning to give me a telephone number where he'll be late tonight, and I've got to ring him and tell him that Ellery's come through unscathed.
Well, he certainly did, and that's obviously, you're very thankful for that. But he did also mention, of course, that you're the new manager of the Great Britain side. We must congratulate you on, Maurice. What does that mean to you, in fact?
I feel that it's an honour for the club and and the people that sit in these stands as well, Alan. The club in the last 10 years has made enormous strides. I've just been part of it, really. The players are a joy to work with. You've just been talking about Ellery's progress. That reflects his spirit and the spirit of the players that I've been involved with at the club for the last few years. Their spirit, I think, has worked its way through to the Great Britain team, and it's taken them to challenges for possibly the best international side in the world. We'll find that out over the next 12 months. For myself personally, I'm a family of tremendous honour. I'm obviously really pleased, but I'm delighted that the captain of Great Britain has got his boots on again, and I can't wait for him to ring me tomorrow morning and say everything's okay, and then I'll just rub my hands for Wigan and rub my hands for Great Britain, and then it's look out France.
You mentioned the supporters, who are obviously fantastic, but have you any special message for them at this time of the year?
Yes, and I know that Ellery joins me. We've delivered the goods tonight. We've got an enormous game on Boxing Day, but in between then, we're all going to enjoy the turkey on Christmas Day. So to everyone that's been here tonight and everyone that supported Wigan throughout the tremendous run that we've had, Merry Christmas.